We're
content.
very genuine. So
We're genuine people.
we just act like idiots and we don't care, and then we make them bloopers.
Is that the thing?
Yeah. Did you know that's how it's done?
I don't know. I leave that up to you.
I'm very good at acting like an idiot. So.
No. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle. I've got a special episode here today. I've got Jana with me.
Hi.
I kind of said that word. Nathan on Shuffle. Restart?
If you want to.
Okay, I'm going to restart. I'm sure that'll end up as a blooper.
I liked it.
Okay. All right, redo. It'll probably be exactly the same, but redo.
Okay. Go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle. I've got Jana here with me.
Hi.
And this is going to be an interesting, cool episode, I hope, for all of you. We're gonna be talking about our experience on Cruise to the Edge that we went on together. So I know
I'm wearing my sweater.
many people in our community here, our subscribers, are fans of Cruise to the Edge or have been on Cruise to the Edge. It's a big prog music festival out on a boat at sea, so it seems like something we should talk about on this channel since I focus on progressive rock music, and this is like the ultimate progressive rock dream vacation, I guess. So I thought we'd just kind of detail our experience, try to just give some of the highlights of what we enjoyed about our trip, and just see how it goes.
I think just a general feeling of this year's Cruise to the Edge, I just had the best time.
Yeah.
It was so fun. I had such a blast, and I enjoyed every day that we were there. So it was just really cool.
Yeah.
So we had gone to Prog Nation at Sea 10 years ago in 2014, and I didn't do a lot there. I wasn't listening to
yeah, you
prog
weren't really
music.
into music
I was
at
kind
that
of a
point.
bum just there for the, sea and the sun and the beach.
And some excursions on the side.
So this one was a lot different for me, and I enjoyed it immensely.
It made it more fun for me, too, to have... Because on the previous one, I went to a lot of concerts alone.
Sorry.
Or you were just kind of, like, distracted, like you were around, but kind of doing your own thing.
I fell asleep in some of them.
But this time around, you were pretty much with me at every concert, and it was really a cool experience to have you share in it with me, and to have your own favorite bands and things that you enjoyed.
I discovered some bands.
Yeah, so I think this was just a incredible experience. And as a big prog fan, it's just, everything I could hope for. It's all my favorite bands on one ship. And it's cool because you kind of see them walking around the ship sometimes. It's like, oh, well, there's Neil Morse walking past me. And it's cool. I'm a shy guy, so I don't go up to these musicians very much, and but I do what I can. I guess one of the first things I should say is it was cool that I was recognized a few times on the cruise for doing this YouTube channel.
Before we even got on the boat, in the cruise terminal, you had 4 or 5 people say, hey, I watch your videos, nice channel, it's so good to meet you. And I was so touched by that. I thought that was so sweet, and really nice of all of you out there to say such kind things to him. So I think over the course of the cruise, you had about a dozen or so folks who recognized you.
At one point, you were kind of doing a tally.
I was trying to count.
as it was happening. And there might be some repeat, people who came up to us a couple times. But it was probably at least a dozen people, I would guess, that recognized me and came up to me. And there's probably more people that maybe saw me at a distance and recognized me, but didn't come up to us.
They're like you and shy.
Yeah, which I relate to. I totally... that's how I would be too.
But everybody was really, really nice.
Yeah, it was
complimentary, so we're just really grateful for that.
Yeah, so thank you if you guys are watching, the ones that came up to us.
Hi again.
Yes, even saw us from a distance. Thank you guys for your support and just everything you do on the channel. It's just really, we're grateful for it all. So I guess we could kind of get into a little bit of a day by day travel log here.
We got on the ship fairly early at 11, and it was a full day of concerts that whole first day. So started out, we saw Symphony X, and then Martin Barr.
Martin Barr. He's a guitarist at Jethro Tull. Yeah.
Then we saw What?
We saw the Flower Kings later that night, and then late night saw Haken, which I think was a little bit late for you, so you caught only the first little bit of it.
After about 20 minutes. Well, because the first show in that theater started late, and so it put everything else behind it late in that Stardust theater, and so Haken was supposed to go on at 11:30. They went on at 12:30.
Right.
And so I was just. I was out of energy. I was exhausted, so I stayed for a couple songs, knowing that I'd be able to see them at the pool stage later on.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I loved. Symphony X was a cool way to open up with a lot of energy. They did their progressive metal thing, and of course Russell Allen is just like a next level vocalist, and he did a lot of like cool vocal moments where it was like really focused on his voice. And, Michael Romeo on guitar shredding and all that kind of stuff. It was just a really fun time. I don't think I'd ever seen a full set of them live, so that was a good experience to open things up. But like Jana said, it was a little bit delayed, so we had to wait a bit before it started. But that was cool. I, of course, always loved the Flower Kings, so their set was awesome. They did the whole Stardust We Are, which was amazing. One interesting little tidbit is Hasse Froberg... his guitar went missing or something.
Yeah.
So that was partly why they were delayed, is they were trying to set up a new guitar. I think he borrowed Casey McPherson's guitar because he needed a left-handed guitar, right? So
I took photos, so I'm going to kind of intersperse these photos as we go along in this video. So
yeah, that'll be fun. And so that was, but I thought they recovered remarkably well, even though he didn't have his usual guitar, but still sounded incredible.
He said he didn't have his guitar or his buttons.
Yeah, his pedals.
Pedals. Yeah, foot pedals.
Yeah. But, it was...
They were great!
A cool set, because they played some, like, classics. They played a couple of newer tracks from their latest album, so it was a really good smattering of stuff from one of my favorite bands. So, of course, had to catch that show. And then Haken was one of the big, like... most exciting bands for me to see there, and they did not disappoint. And I saw both of their shows, or at least most of both of their shows. This one, they played the whole of their new album Fauna, so it was just, they pretty much just presented the album as it was, just played it almost note for note perfect as it is on the record. There wasn't much of like banter with the audience or things like that. They just like really stuck to the music itself, and
dialed in and
played it to like played it to perfection. And I love Fauna. I love that album, so I thought it really came across great live. Even though it was late, once they started, it was late at night, but it was just the perfect cap to a really great first day for me at least.
Yay. Day 2.
Day 2, we can move into what we did day 2. This was a day at sea, and this is when you did your paint class, right?
I did. This was my favorite thing on the whole cruise, was paint class with Ryo Akamoto.
Yeah.
Akamoto?
Yeah.
I painted this.
Yeah.
There we go. So, this is what I painted. It was it already had the outline on there, so I didn't have to like draw the bird or anything. So, but what made it so fun was that Rio was there, and his wife, I don't know her name.
Yeah.
She's lead singer in their band, and then their kiddo, and they all painted along with us, and he was just really funny, and people like asked questions as they were painting, and the instructor was like this cool guy who was like rock star paint class, and so we were all just in there, and we had there was only like 16 people in the class, and we all had direct access to Rio and asked him questions, and he at one point he played a demo.
Yeah, I was jealous of that.
Of his new music, and he said that he said it's new Spocksbeard music, but Spocksbeard doesn't know that yet. So I don't know if it's actually... He could have just been being funny. I don't know. He seems like a jokester to me.
Right. Yeah, I suspect it's probably material from an upcoming solo project, but who knows? Yeah. I wasn't there, unfortunately.
I did... Should I say? I did film a little bit during this time, so you could hear some of that in the background. But I'm not sharing that just because it's it was a demo, and I don't want.
Yeah, he may not want that widely shared.
Yeah, so I don't want to usurp his music.
Yeah.
But that was my favorite thing, and next time, if we do this cruise again, I'm making you come to a paint class, because it was so fun.
I should have gone. I'm not an artist, so I was intimidated by the painting. I didn't know how, like, interactive it would be with the, like, special artist involved, so... But yeah, next time I definitely consider it.
I love doing paint classes. Like I do them here at home, and so it was a no-brainer for me. So it was an extra cost, but I feel like the experience itself was just really cool to be that close to an artist. So so there were a couple different paint classes over the course of the week, but this is the photo I liked the most. Yeah, with the artist that I thought I would enjoy the most.
Yeah, and if I was to do one, this would have been my choice too, just because I'm a huge Rio fan, so it would have been fun to interact with him.
So great. 10 stars.
While she was kind of finishing up her paint class, I went to see Protocol in the Stardust Theater, which you kind of came in towards the very end while that was going on, which I thought was excellent. One of the greatest playing that I heard on the cruise. Just they're technically brilliant, this like jazz fusion style that they were doing, just all excellent musicians, and it was a band I wasn't super familiar with going in. I kind of had some familiarity that it was like a jazz fusion type thing, but I didn't really know their albums that they put out, so it was a cool little surprise for me. I thought this was a really neat set that I enjoyed a lot. And then we went out to the pool stage, saw Steve Morse Band briefly while we were out there, and went and did like a Flying Colors Q&A, which was really fun in the atrium.
There's a little clip of that in the concert footage. Yeah. So it's not all concert footage. It's also,
there's a brief Q&A moment.
Yeah, Q&A moment. So they were great.
Yeah, I love Flying Colors. Obviously, if I was to pick a favorite band that was on the cruise, it would probably be Flying Colors, just because I'm a Neil Morse fanatic. So it was cool seeing them talk about it. And of course, the big like elephant in the room of like, are they going to do more music? Are they going to continue as a band, especially with Mike Portnoy rejoining Dream Theater? And they kind of gave an answer of like they hope so in the future, but it's kind of uncertain because of Mike Portnoy's schedule. And so it's probably going to at least be a few years before they're able to do more. But they seem to really enjoy playing together and working together. So
they had done a show the night before. The whole boat was split into two audiences, and so it was for one audience the night before, which we were not a part of. So in the Q&A, they talked about how a lot of people asked some questions, like last night's concert was so emotional, it was so good, and like asked some questions related to that. And all I was thinking was like, they're not committing to this, to doing this new album. Don't let them break up before Tuesday, because that's when our concert is. So I was feeling a bit jealous of people like heaping praise onto the concert they did, which we didn't attend. We were seeing them later in the cruise, which we'll get to soon. But that was really cool. After that, what did we do?
We went to see Marillion that evening. This was kind of a tricky thing for me, because Marillion was at 6:30, and I think it was even a little delayed. And then I really wanted to see the other Haken set at 7:45 at the pool stage. So I was like, I want to catch these both, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to catch both. So we saw the majority of the Marillion set, but we did leave slightly early so I could catch a good majority of Haken. So I missed the very end of Marillion, the very beginning of the Haken, but I got most of both of those concerts, which were both incredible. Marillion is fun because, their lead singer, Steve Hogarth, is very expressive and, plays up a character almost in his music. And, I've never seen Marillion live, and everyone always raves about them, and they didn't disappoint. They were really incredible, great music. I thought it was really fun, and a good smattering of stuff from their back catalog and a couple from their more recent albums. So I thought it was a good set list that showcased, a good widespread section of their discography. So that was cool. And the Haken set was brilliant. I'm glad we went to it, even though I felt bad to miss a bit of the Marillion. This was one of my favorite shows, was Haken on the pool stage, because unlike the one the night before, they actually let loose a little bit more, had a bit more fun, did some of their back catalog stuff, did Cockroach King, Crystallize, Visions. The drummer, during a quieter moment, got off the stage and went.
He ran and jumped in the pool.
Did a dip in the pool and came back. Yeah, which I think was an homage that he actually did that on Progressive Nation at Sea cruise. So it was kind of like hearkening back to their previous iteration of playing that song on Cruise to the Edge. So I was glad we caught that, even if I had to miss a slight bit of the Marillion set.
I mean, I feel like these schedulings and this on this cruise, it's you have to pick and choose. You can't see everything because there's no way. There were some that we just weren't able to see at all. There was a handful of them, but I imagine we'll talk about that. After that, we went to a Lonely Robot.
Yeah.
Loved
yeah,
the
don't
music.
take that. Lonely Robot's incredible, and they did really great on the cruise. We just had really poor
terrible seats. We couldn't see them.
Yeah, the Spinnaker venue was not my favorite. It was kind of hard to get a good view. And so I was a bit disappointed because this was a band I was really anticipating, Lonely Robot, John Mitchell's group, and they're really good. And this was kind of a unique opportunity to see them. I don't know if they've performed live in this iteration, but it's a lot of cool progressive rock talent that's playing together in this group, and I thought the material was just excellent, and the sound was really great. It was one of your favorite, musically. Yeah. But unfortunately,
we just couldn't see them. It was like we were just listening to them because there were so many people there. And
that's why that's like the one show we don't have any video of in our little concert footage thing because we just had no view of them. Literally, we were just seeing the backs of people's heads.
I think I could have seen somebody right through this person and this person and this light and this pole and it was just...
Yeah. But people were lined up pretty far back, so... And I think they let in, VIP people first, so they took all, the main front seating and stuff, and
we should go VIP next time.
Maybe. That's something to consider.
It costs more.
But we probably could have, muscled our way through the crowd and tried to get a better view, but it just didn't... I'm not very comfortable with that, so I felt better about just kind of sitting in the back and just letting the music kind of wash over, and even though I didn't have a great view. So I wish I could have seen them, and it would have been cool to see. They did another set on the pool stage, but it was during a conflicting concert, I believe, so we weren't able to catch them again. But yeah, so that was my one kind of unfortunate moment, but it was still great music, and we still enjoyed being in the room and listening to what they were doing. So, moving on to the next day. This is going to be a longer video than I thought, but but it's fun to talk about. So, the next day, maybe you could talk a bit about our beach day.
Yeah, we were in Port, and we didn't want to go too far from the boat because we knew we wanted to be back for the Rio Akamoto's pool stage show at about 2:30, 2:45. So we just found a little beach resort right nearby within walking distance, did a day pass there. Really, really nice. I snorkeled a bit. We laid in the sun. We went in the pool. They fed us lunch. It was really, really nice.
Yeah.
And it was really close to the ship. So, my own travel anxiety that I have when I travel, it was very much eased by that. Nice. It was just right there. I know my boat's not going to leave me. It's right there. So I'm good. I get weirdly worried about things like that.
Right.
But then we went to the first show of the day in the afternoon at the pool stage for Rio Akamoto. Yeah. Rio had said in the paint class the day before, he's like, you guys are all going to come, right? You're going to come to the concert tomorrow?
Yeah.
He was worried nobody was going to come because it was on a day
during the excursion.
During the excursions, when we were in Port. And we were in Port until 8 o'clock that night. So he was worried nobody was going to be on the boat. So he's like, you guys will come, right? I'm like, of course we're going to be there. Yeah. Of course. And I'm so glad we went because it was amazing.
Yeah, there's no way I was missing this. This is one of the main ones I wanted to make sure to attend, and it seemed well attended. I think his fears were unfounded because it was a pretty popular show and excellent. They played pretty much his whole Myth of the Mostrophus album that he released. Was it last year or the year before? I think it might even be the year before last. But they played almost the entire album. They had Neil Morse come on for a little guest spot for. They played June by Spocksbeard for a brief moment.
That's in our concert footage.
Yeah, so Neil Morse and Jimmy Keegan came on board, and they even Rio went into the opening of the light right after, and Neil's like, "Okay, how far are we going with this?"
I didn't know he was doing that, so I cut off the video.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, he's done. He's playing a new song. I shut it off, and then he did that, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, Neil Morse.
But other people have video of it.
He
YouTube.
played along, and sang that first opening bit. But yeah, they weren't prepared to like play the whole of the light. So, but it was a fun moment. So that was an excellent set. They had so much energy, and it was such a fun group, and I loved it. One of the highlights, one of my top 3 like favorites concerts that I saw. So
yeah.
And then we caught a bit of Airbag in the Spinnaker once again. We had a little bit of a better view this time there. Have a couple things filmed from there, but
I enjoyed that a lot. I thought their music was so fun. It was really, really fun.
Yeah. It was, I feel like they're a lot more kind of laid back and like kind of atmospheric. And I think this set in particular, they said was more of like an acoustic kind of laid back vibe. I think they did a set on the pool stage that was a bit more of their like more rock kind of tunes, like more energetic. So, but I liked the vibe. I think it was kind of perfect for that day. And the big highlight to me of almost the whole cruise is the Big Train show that night, which happened at 10:15, which was really, you know, everyone was really excited about it. People were lined up. It was really packed in the room. It was one of the most highly attended concerts. People were like looking for seats.
Standing room only.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a laminate show where it's either one half of the audience or the other. It was just open seating, and it was standing room only. We got in line probably an hour early or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, this was like one of the biggest shows I wanted to make sure to be in. And I had heard rumors that like, oh, it's going to be really popular. You better line up if you want to get in. So we made sure that we were going to get into the show. So it was, and it was just every bit as magical and special as I knew it would be. They were incredible. This was like one of the big drawing factors of coming on the cruise in general was that Big Train would be there. That was like what sold it for me. Like, okay, I have to go because this is such a rare opportunity to see them in the States. Like this was their first time, you know, they did a little bit of a tour in the States leading up to this Cruise to the Edge, and it was the first time they ever toured in the US, and they're one of my all-time favorite bands, and I just love them. They just have such a great quality to them. They were energetic. They like got the crowd up on their feet. They played all of their big like classics. He was in the audience, like getting people to stand, and oh, it was so good. Their new singer Alberto Bravin, you know, was just incredible. They did "Love Is the Light" from their new album, which I thought was magical. Just, you know, it's more of a ballad and laid back, but it just like works so well with people like singing along and all that kind of stuff.
I don't think they could tell watching you, but I feel like you're vibrating with the excitement of thinking about this show because you loved it so much. It was really, really great, and you can hear it in his voice and how he described it. Don't apologize, hun.
They did East Coast Racer. They did Apollo was amazing. Like it's like a big, long, extended instrumental that they just like went all out for, and everyone was so into it. It was just like perfect experience. One of my favorite things. And hopefully they'll be on future cruises, and if so, they'll probably be one of like the premier laminate shows next time. So incredible experience all the way around. So moving on to the next day. This one we were at port again this day, but I didn't really get off the ship for this one. Jana did briefly.
Yeah, I went off into the little shopping center right there, bought some souvenirs like some hot sauce and some vanilla. Because
we were basically at the same exact location that we were the day before, so we, in my opinion, we kind of did the beach day thing we were hoping to the day before, so we didn't really need to repeat that this day. But the first show we went to was Life Signs in the theater, which was a band that I'm less familiar with. I've heard their stuff and I've dabbled in their music, but I haven't become like a massive fan of them. So this was cool to see them live. I know a lot of people who go on the cruises really love them, and they didn't disappoint. They were really incredible. It was a really great, solid concert that I really enjoyed. They just played a great selection of their catalog and sounded really good. So I thought it was a solid show. You enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, I did. It was great.
And then I wanted to catch Big Train again.
This was so stressful.
Yeah, they played on the pool stage the next day, and I wanted to see both shows. You know, I want to see them in the theater, and then I want to see them here. But I knew it was going to be a little tight because we had our Steve Hackett show right afterwards. But unfortunately, Big Train was quite delayed, like at least 45 minutes late starting.
Yeah. Because
they had some kind of technical difficulties and stuff. So I only really caught about half of their set out on the pool stage before we had to like run off and get to the Steve Hackett show. So that was kind of sad, especially since they played mostly like a whole different set and a whole different group of songs than they did in the previous show. So it would have been cool to be able to see their full set. It was once again packed. Like, felt like the whole boat was out there on that pool stage at that
was the most crowded pool stage show that I had seen.
So we didn't have a great view anyways, once again, but it was still cool to hear them play some of their other songs that they didn't play before. So a little bit unfortunate, but I'm glad we went to the Steve Hackett show, because that was another highlight show that we loved as well. So I would have hated to miss any of that, He
had that singer with him.
Yeah, Nat Sylvan.
So
like theatrical, dramatic. But he never upstages Steve Hackett, who stays in the center as the focus.
He would stand perfectly still until it was his turn, where he would be the theatrical singer that he needed to be.
Yeah.
And then when Steve Hackett would start playing his solos and stuff, he would be perfectly still to not upstage him. And I was so tickled by that.
Yeah.
And Steve Hackett was amazing. He was amazing.
It was perfect. Because he started with a lot of his solo material, especially from his most recent album that just came out a couple months ago, really. Mm-hmm. So he played some of that, which sounded excellent. And then he played a good selection from Foxtrot, the classic Genesis album, including the whole Supper's Ready epic, which was just totally amazing, of course. So this was definitely a highlight of the cruise. One of the best concerts for sure. And
I filmed the guitar solo from Supper's Ready. That's in the concert footage.
That's a really cool one. So it was just a flawless show. I mean, Steve Hackett never disappoints. This was really my first chance to see him live. It's been on my bucket list to see a Steve Hackett show, because he tours quite a bit, and I've just never been able to make it work to be able to go to one. I've always wanted to take my dad to a Steve Hackett show. It's always on a Saturday, and my dad has his own gigs on Saturday nights, so it's never worked very well, but being able to see him at this event was really special. And then we went, speaking of special events, we went to a special event that night, exclusive. We had to really jump on tickets for this. It was To Cure a Rose charity event with Casey McPherson.
Sold out in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And we just happened to be the lucky folks who got 2 tickets. So To Cure a Rose private charity event at the Bliss Lounge with Casey McPherson. If you don't know, his daughter has a genetic disorder that he has started this charity for called To Cure a Rose. And it is making headway. And they have isolated the gene that is causing the developmental delays in his daughter and in thousands of children, and so they're developing therapies for it and medications for it, and that's what the event was for, to raise money for this cause, for this cure, and so. They sold 100 tickets, so instantly made $10,000, for that, and took donations, and they had a auction, for a variety of different things as well, and then the event itself had great music in it. It was, you guys probably know that sometimes I'm a little indifferent to prog. It's okay. I know.
Oops.
I know who I am. I enjoy it when I listen to it, but then I sometimes don't listen to a song anymore, and that's who I am. I'm comfortable with who I am.
Yeah.
One thing that I love is DiVirgilio, Morrison, Jennings.
Yeah.
I love that music, and I've listened to that over and over again, and so I was very, very excited that we actually got tickets to this, because Casey McPherson had these 3 artists on to do some guest musical spots. He had a couple different people.
Yeah, there was a couple different things going on. He had Steve Morse and Neil Morse come out to play The Storm, classic Flying Colors song.
That's so good.
He did a solo song that featured some violin from Lobate Scarp. She plays violin, and she did excellent on this. And
she was really, really nice.
Neil Morse did a little duet. I don't know if you call it a duet, but he performed a Transatlantic song with Mike Portnoy there with him. They, sang together and did that. So, but yeah, what
song was that?
It was Rose Colored Glasses from their Whirlwind album. But yeah, the DMJ set, the DiVirgilio, Morrison, Jennings, they only played 3 songs, But
I was like in heaven.
But it was cool. And it was special because it's the only time they've ever performed live. You know, it was their first time performing, and they were spot on. They did an incredible job. I thought it was cool how they did 3 songs, and each one was like written by each one of the individual members. Like the first track they did was Everything I Am, written by Neil Morse. Linger at the Edge of My Memory, which is written by Nick DiVirgilio, and then Julia, which is written by Ross Jennings. So
I filmed all of Julia. It's in the concert footage.
Yeah, so it was a special experience. So I may even pull out that one as a kind of its own video at some point, because I'm really happy that how that came out, and I think it's just a really beautiful song.
Beautiful. And then after...
Yeah, I was going to say that. We were able to kind of meet some of these guys, right?
Yeah.
We took some pictures. You'll probably put some in our video.
Yeah, I'll add them in so you see pictures. But yeah, we met Neil Morse.
Casey McPherson. And then Ross Jennings.
We didn't get a chance to meet Nick DiVirgilio.
Yeah, he was kind of busy talking to other people and seemed on his way out, so we didn't really bother him.
We got like a weird picture where you're like...
yeah, he's like right way there in the background.
But they were all very, very nice. Ross Jennings knew who you were because you had done your review on his
solo album.
He was very nice. It's so like... He's like this proper British man who says very nice things, and thank you so much for coming to the show, and it's very, very nice to have you here. And then he like gets on stage and it's like,
yeah, you know, he's like this big rock star at the same time.
It was amazing. One of my favorite interactions of the whole cruise.
He's amazing.
So
they were all so nice and amazing.
Hi.
Yeah, if he's
I'm sure you're watching, right?
30 minutes into this like random cruise review video.
I'm pretty sure we're BFFs now.
Okay, maybe. All right, then into the final day. We in the morning we saw Neil Morse do like this worship service in that same Bliss Lounge. That was kind of cool. Yeah, just seeing him in his element.
Just a little bit of that footage in the video.
And then we saw Jordan Rudess out on the pool stage, which you really liked this show. I think.
That was fun.
Jordan Rudess is great. He's keyboardist extraordinaire from Dream Theater, and it was a really eclectic, interesting set because he had a lot of guests come on and out, and did a couple different kinds of things. He had That Joe Payne, I guess is his name, was his singer who's singing on his upcoming solo album. So they did a couple songs from the upcoming solo album. He brought out Charlie Griffiths at one point from Haken to play on Spirit Carries On by Dream Theater. I hear on their other show, Mike Portnoy actually joined in as well, but we weren't we didn't go to that show. But it was still cool to see him play some Dream Theater stuff and his own solo material and some really great piano medleys. He did like a piano medley of different prog songs, and that kind of thing. They closed out, I thought it was really interesting that they closed out with We Are the Champions by Queen, kind of a random choice at a prog, event, but I thought it was cool. It was all a really fun show.
That was fun.
And then later that day we caught our other laminate shows. We saw Riverside in the Stardust Theater.
Big surprise to me. I know we have done a couple songs from them, but I was blown away by that. I don't think I had any idea what kind of really music, or I didn't remember what kind of music they did, and that was some of my favorite stuff of the whole cruise. I loved it.
Yeah, Riverside is one of my favorites. They don't disappoint either. Their set was amazing. They focused a lot on their recent album Mighty Entity, which I really love and thought that was excellent. They did like kind of the epic-ish, the longer song from that album, The Place Where I Belong. I love Friend or Foe, which they close their concert with. It's one of my favorite tracks from them. So just a really excellent concert. They were fun. They had a lot of funny little moments too, and just played expertly. It was just one of the highlight shows for sure.
Yeah.
And then we did Flying Colors was our final show, the big kind of closing show for us, which was cool because we're both fans of this, and this is one of our favorite bands, so it was cool to see them close out this whole big concert experience. And they did excellent as well. They played a great smattering of songs from their catalog. It was kind of unique to see them because they haven't played live in a little while. This was kind of a makeup performance they were supposed to be on the 2020 cruise, I think, before the pandemic hit. So this was kind of like them returning and getting to make up that one that they missed from that time.
We saw them in 2019 when they were coming to California. We saw them in Ventura.
Yeah, they were touring their third album. So, but yeah, like 5 years ago.
5 years later.
Yeah.
It was so great. The whole... Oh, that concert was so good.
Yeah, especially towards the end when they do Peaceful Harbor is so beautiful when like Casey has the audience kind of sing along with that beautiful melody.
Yeah.
And the whole Cosmic Symphony is just like a incredible piece of music. So really wonderful. They, you know, it's kind of crazy that they can come away, you know, having not played for like 4 or 5 years and just like play these 2 shows expertly well, just like they didn't miss any steps getting back together. So it was really great and a great culmination of our full experience of the cruise, I think. So that was basically, that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we did. I did want to give one other shout out to my friend Brent, who we met on the cruise.
Cheryl! Hi!
Yeah, otherwise known as Similitude of Prague on YouTube. One of my fellow Prague YouTuber friends. We do a lot of videos together, those like quarterly reviews on Notes Reviews channel. So it was really cool getting to see him in person. We had dinner together and just shared a lot
with
of
his wife, Cheryl.
Experiences and conversation with each other. So that was
fun.
An amazing time to be able to see them. I'm hoping to get more of my friends on board in future cruises. We'll see how that goes. It's quite
go to dinner.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. It's quite a commitment, you know, because of, you know, it's a pretty expensive thing to do and people have to travel from pretty far away to get there, but it was well worth it. Yeah, I thought it was amazing, and I'm already like racking my brain of like, how could we do it in the future, you know?
We gotta save money.
Gotta save money. We may not be able to do the next one, but maybe in a future iteration. We'll see. We'll kind of like have to assess. Now we're part of like the Cruise to the Edge community, and we gotta like be aware of what's going on and see if we can make future cruises.
Yeah. And they kicked us off the boat at like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So, and that was it.
Yeah. And then,
well, I mean, then we went to a beach in Florida for a couple days.
Yeah, we did
and then I started to feel sick, and then when I got home, I tested positive for COVID. So thanks, whoever came onto the cruise with that.
Yeah.
Thank you. But it did get me out of work for another week. So
yeah, and that's why this content's a little bit delayed. I was kind of hoping to put this concert footage and this review video out last weekend, but it just...
I was sick.
Jana was still recovering, and it just wasn't possible. So I know it's a little bit later than I had hoped, but I think it's still...
It's all right.
Worth putting out there. People seem to really like the concert footage video we put out a couple days ago. If you haven't seen that, like, go ahead and look that up. And it's a good kind of companion piece to this this video as well, just to kind of see some of the concerts that we're talking about. So... yeah, I guess that's a good way to close it.
That's about it.
That's about it.
Did we stick to our 15 minutes?
No.
We blew right past that.
Yeah, we're almost at 40 minutes in the raw footage here.
Raw footage.
So we'll see how that goes.
That's fine. That's fine.
No, but hopefully people are interested to get our take on it. I don't know. There was a lot to say, so...
if you made it this far, comment. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Comment with a emoji, a happy face emoji or something.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the show. Hopefully you appreciated it and liked our experience. Let us know in the comments, like Jana said, how you, if you were
you there?
On board. Yeah, let us know your experience, and if you were planning a future cruise or whatever. Yeah. We'd be curious to know. So thank you guys for joining us, and we'll hopefully see you in a future episode.
Bye.
Bye,
Enjoy
everybody.
the music.
Enjoy the music.